Alright everybody, welcome to another episode of
Unique Adventures.
Alright, so we are out here at Schafer State Park. We do have a confession to make. We have been here before. We just haven't been on this side of the campground. We were here last Labor Day. This east side of the campground is actually brand new to this year, and we're going to show you a little bit around the campground and what it's like camping in a brand new campground. And what else are we going to do?
We're going to go up just over here on the other side of the river and do a little hike.
Yeah, so there's some trails and stuff around here, and then we've got it's also nestled on the Satsop River, so there are some cool wading areas and stuff like that. We're gonna probably go down and check that out a little bit later because it is overcast and not as warm as we were hoping it to be. But we're gonna take you along, show you around a little bit of this campground and our campsite, and kind of give you some impressions on what we think here, and some things just to note when you're in a brand new campground or in a brand new state park that is going to be a little bit different from something that's established. So let's go ahead and go do some exploring here in Schafer State Park. We've crossed the river, and there's two trails. There's an east and a west loop trail back here. We're going to do the east trail. And the cool thing wanting to know about Schafer State Park is during the winter time, the Satsop River actually rises a lot and actually floods. So the older side of Schafer State Park's campground is closed during the winter time because it actually floods into the campground. And that's why you can't camp there year round. Now with the new east side campground, that will be open year-round because it's above the floodplain. So Schafer State Park has been around for a while. The main campground has been around for a while, but this new side, which just opened up this April, is brand new. And we got a chance last year when we were here for Labor Day to actually, you know, we got to go over there and get a sneak peek at what the sites were going to look like. And that's when we did the campground review when it was still under construction, just to give that open concept view and to get a jump to have people be able to reserve those sites and kind of know what to get into. So that's how we got a jump on that for last year. So we're going to show you a little bit of this East Loop Trail and eventually make it down to the river and show you that as well. Get back from the trail, you've got that east and that west side. Some gorgeous views and stuff in there with all the overgrown moss and the different trees down in the foliage and the little excerpts where you can kind of see into the river area there, which is really nice. We're actually getting ready to go down to the river, gonna go splash around a little bit, go sit down by the water for a little bit, because that's also one of the big things about coming here that I think is kind of underrated. Down there you can go float, as we saw a lot of people down there floating. So the area is really cool, and like I said, that trail, it's not terribly long. It's got a little bit of an up and downhill sections, but it's worth it to go take a little jaunt and just to go check that out. We're going to talk a little bit more about the history of the state park, because when we went to go check out the new guest center at the new side of the campground, we found out that just in July, just a couple weeks ago, that this state park is one of the oldest state parks in Washington. It just celebrated its 100th year anniversary at Centennial, so that was pretty cool. So we're gonna go a little bit more into the history a little bit later, but we're gonna go head down to that river right now and go check out some of that access down there and see why it's a nice place to come to here on a summer day or a summer weekend. So let's go ahead and head down there. So I think probably one of the hidden gems things about being here at Schafer State Park and the campground is obviously getting to hang out here on the Satsop River. The last time we went here, we were on the west side of the campground and the area was really shallow over there. But over here, on the east side where the state park is, there's little spots where you can kind of come in and stuff, and you've got multiple different levels of, you know, depth and stuff like that over here. So
yeah, you can sit in your chairs like we are at the moment with our feet in the water, or you can kind of wade in, you know, to your liking, or there's a little bit deeper spots where you can dip in if you want. As you can see from the video, a lot of people floating the river, which we made the mistake of not bringing our floaties this weekend. But I would recommend start up by the tent sites on the east side. Is that right? The east side. 15, 16, 18, 17, 18 I think is the 15 to 18 I think are the sites. And there's a little area there that people are dipping in, and then you can go all the way down underneath the overpass and come out on the west side where we camped last year. There's another little shallow spot that people are coming in, but you can get in and out of the river, you know, come up on land if you need to, because it's not 100% you know, deeper where you can't touch.
Yeah, so. And so you've got some sections that pick up some pace, but most of it seems like it's pretty mellow, pretty chill. But we saw people doing laps. They were all over the place down here. So on a hot day, and it ended up getting pretty warm today, just to put your chair down here, get to go hang out by the river, get to dunk your feet in or splash yourself in a little bit. Nice and refreshing on a hot day. The views are great. You get to see these little fish and stuff in the river. And then over by the bridge, we saw a fair amount of fish earlier, actually bigger ones, just kind of floating around. So
yeah, it's a bit deeper right by the bridge, so they were in a big dip in the water. But yeah, very nice, good area to come cool off.
Yeah,
chill out.
I think this campground gets undersold, I think, a little bit because of Lake Sylvia up the way, and everybody wants to go there and get to camp on the lake, which is amazing. The views out there, the camping experience is great, but I think this place is kind of a sleeper, and I think now that you've got this campground that's open year-round, and even during the summer, like we snagged a last-minute spot here, we were able to get in and get to enjoy this on a hot, you know, fairly warm August weekend here. So we're gonna pack up what we're doing here. We've been down here for a couple hours. You could honestly spend all day down here playing and splashing in the water. A lot of people were doing that around here. It was definitely awesome. We're gonna go head back up to the campground, and we're gonna talk a little bit more when we go up there about some of the history of the campground. Didn't realize how old the state park is here, and kind of give you a little bit of history, and also tell you some things that you need to look out for in a new you know, camping at a new campground that might be different from something that's been established for a while. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we're gonna and drop us a comment about what you've seen so far, and then we're gonna head back up to the campsite. We're gonna go over a little bit of the history. We're actually not really we didn't really know a whole lot. We started reading a lot of the placards and stuff around, and then we went into the little visitor center and kind of found out some more about their history there.
So the park was dedicated in 1924 to the Schafer family by their children. So they were a logging family that logged this area, and they had a lot of employees. And when the logging didn't go so well, they were using a lot of the stones and stuff to make the buildings here, the cobblestones. So like Glenn said, they just had their Centennial here for this park, and this is one of the first state parks in Washington State. So yeah, beautiful area. Pros to having a new campground.
Yeah, so the pros about being here at Schafer State Park, the big one is these massive pull-throughs that they've got. Probably some of the biggest pull-throughs I have ever seen in a campground. I mean, these things are over 120 feet long. Like, you could park multiple trailers if they let you. They won't, but you could bring a whole slew of people into one of these sites. So that is definitely one of the pros. And another pro?
Pros are that the sites are all paved, so they're very flat, easy to get in, easy to level. There aren't any, you know, tree stumps or roots or anything to block it, so it was easy to level. One of the cons of getting in the sites is they're a little bit narrow, so it's a little bit of maneuvering, especially with some of the foliage and things, you know, to get the trucks in. We had a little bit of trouble. We were watching a couple other people, but it's doable. You just have to go slow. It's nice because they all have a little gravelly tent site on it as well that's flat, and then also they have a nice picnic area, or well, you have your fire pit with your picnic table. The problem with those is it's pretty narrow and the picnic tables are close to the fire pit, so you do have to watch a little bit for that, but otherwise we didn't have too much trouble.
No, the sites were so level. Like we just backed up, everything was plumb. We didn't have to chalk up on blocks, which is a benefit of coming to a newer campground. The ground hasn't settled and you having to do that different you know, getting everything leveled out. Another good thing with this facility and a newer state park, obviously you're going to have more amenities. They've got this nice shower slash bathroom facility here that also has Wi-Fi. So we had Wi-Fi in the park, which, you know, some people need that. It's a good little luxury to have, and you can see the little repeaters on the bathroom area there. So, and the showers were good. They were super huge. So that's just a benefit of being in a new campground. One of the other cons for being in a new campground
is that the foliage hasn't grown back quite yet, so you don't have as much privacy between the sites. They're fairly close together. But they are, you know, I think as the foliage grows in the next couple years, it'll be a little bit more secluded. But otherwise, we didn't have any trouble with any of our neighbors or anything.
No.
Just that, you know, if you're playing music, you can hear a little bit of it from site to site, so you have to be mindful of that. Not a lot of road noise. We're right next to the main road on the backside, and I didn't hear anything at night, and we did have our windows open, so
yeah,
that was a benefit as well.
It was good. So without the foliage being up, obviously you're not going to have that privacy, and as these trees grow, they're going to get thicker, and you're going to start to develop that. But when you're in a new campground and they've had to come in here, either plant stuff or, you know, cut around things, chop things down to be able to construct the sites, it's just not there yet. And then you're also not going to have a lot of shade here, so yeah, obviously you're going to want to make sure to bring your awnings or bring stuff to have shade if you don't have it. But the tent pads are great, which, you know, a lot of people ask us on the channel, well, why don't you, you know, showcase places with, you know, more tents, more diversity and stuff like that. This place has it. You've got tent pads, you've got RV spots, you know, pretty much nestled at every site. So you've got the option to go tent or to go RV with power and water, and so that was really good. We really enjoyed our time here, just with the river floating, and you can do fishing, and you can, you know, go explore the trails, and get to be in this nice new facility. It's a really good experience. We're glad we finally got to come check out this side of the campground. But that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you say subscribe to the channel, so that when we come back to new state parks and give you a lay of the land and show you kind of about it, you won't miss it. But until then,
we'll see you in the next adventure.